Hi, everybody. This is Melissa, your free range psychic. Today is June 30th, 2024, and today I have a past life reading for you. I thought it would be good to distract from all the hysteria about the debate, which is actually turning out to be in uh, Biden's favor, actually. But there was already a narrative set up, this fear and anticipation, ready to pounce no matter what happened at that debate. Because corporate media and the right wing talking points and whoever is uh, anti-Biden, and just for the uh, narrative itself, which gets perpetuated. The corporate media wants to set up to draw on viewers. They'd like to ratchet up the fear. So that was already in place before the election, before the debate. And then I believe that Biden wasn't feeling well and things were, kind of, it's like running against the wind. But then he redeemed himself afterwards by his rally speeches. And what an amazing um, turnaround. He's being called the comeback kid. But the guides want you to know that it's all going to be fine, but be prepared for this type of onslaught regarding the narrative. Biden is hugely popular, gaining popularity with every demographic. He and the guides want to assure you that he will be president. The Democrats will have major victories, and with every kind of leg up that Trump seems to get, he just ends up destroying it. He can't help himself. He's so oppositional. So yes, as a distraction, just to think about something else. I thought this was very interesting, and I want to apologize in advance. Uh, I may not be giving you like full history regarding Benjamin Netanyahu and potentially the person he was before he reincarnated into this life, Gula Gombos. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. He was Hungarian. So there's going to be holes in in the historical narrative here. But please go ahead and research both people. I thought the most crazy thing, really dramatic thing, was just how they look like the same person. It's I was comparing as I was doing the montage, the comparative uh, pictorial uh, video. Oh my God, just the eyebrows. That blew my mind. And, my guides show me these past lives. It's almost like going on a treasure hunt. Initially, I said, was he a Nazi? Was Netanyahu? What was he? What time period are we in? And they just said Hungarian. No, no. Originally, it was a European fascist. Look up European fascist, and then they just stopped at Gombos. And when I looked him up, wow, I don't know what to say about it. And please take everything I say with a big grain of salt. I'm just a human. I'm just telling you what I thought I heard from my guides, or did hear from my guides, whatever the case. And this is what the result was. So, and I'd never heard of this person, Gombas. And I don't know how many people really have, except if you're Hungarian and, I'm sure studying Hungarian history. He was prime minister. Let's see, oh, from October 1932 to his death, which was 1936. So yes, that is the past life. But uh, question was or is Benjamin Netanyahu, who was prime minister of Israel, the reincarnation of Gula Gombos, who was prime minister of Hungary in the 1930s. I'm using the Sarah Marchetti Gilded Tarot as usual, and then we're going to have a oracle card from the Moon of the Oracle, sorry, Queen of the Moon Oracle deck by Stacey DeMarco. And then, of course, there's a musical interlude at the end. For those of you who want to stick around, please like, share, and subscribe my channel. It really, really helps uh, because I would love to build up my following. That would be fantastic. Okay, so so Gambos, he's noted for initially. Oh, he was. Oh, let me go back to giving you some biography of him. So he's born from a member of the untitled Hungarian nobility. This is according to Wikipedia. But his father was a village schoolmaster, belonged to the Hungarian Evangelical Church, enters the Austro-Hungarian army. He ends up uh, eventually being very anti-communist and uh, is made Minister of Defense at some point. And then after I guess the Hungarian government was Hungarian communist. They were ousted in 1919, and then Gambos helps direct the purge of communists from Hungarian society. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe were they slaughtered or were they just thrown out? I don't know. And then he also, in Wikipedia, it says that he supported certain political actions against Hungarian Jews, but at some point he becomes prime minister. He gets support. He changes his perspective. He is supported by some wealthy Hungarian Jews, and he sticks to that allegiance so that when he is in diplomatic relations with Hitler, and he was the first of the European leaders to do so, Hitler wasn't that pleased with his stance. And regarding his feelings about Jews or his policies towards Jews, and but he does make somewhat of an allegiance, and it's all to do with commerce and you know territory. And eventually, he stays with prime minister, and eventually he dies of a long, protracted testicular cancer disease, which must have been very, very painful. And he dies in office in 1936, so he dies before the end of World War II. And you can research the rest. I'm sure there's much more about him, but I just give you a vague idea. He was married twice. I thought that, which was interesting because so was Netanyahu. Or I think Netanyahu is. I'm not sure if Netanyahu is still married to his second wife, but they both have or had two wives. So then you have Netanyahu, who is currently the prime minister of Israel. He's born of secular Jewish parents, according to Wikipedia, raised in West Jerusalem in the U.S., returns in 1967 to join the Israeli Defense Forces, serves in the Special Forces as a captain, and then is honorably discharged. He graduates from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, works for Boston Consulting Group, moves back to Israel. In 1978, founds the Yonatan Netanyahu Anti-Terror Institute. And he between 1984 and 1980, Netanyahu was Israel's ambassador to the United Nations. He rises to he rises to prominence um, after election as chair of Likud. The Likud party is a far-right extremist party in Israel. They, I believe, they want to end any Arabic or Palestinian presence. They want Israel to have exclusivity in terms of boundaries, and they want to expand Israel. They want to go back to biblical times, and what they perceive of is Israeli property. They're very extreme, as we probably know, from his response to the attack on Israel by Hamas. So he's in 1996. He's elected by popular vote, the first prime minister elected directly by popular vote in 1999. And then he retires from politics. Then he returns as Minister of Foreign Affairs, and he resigns over the Gaza disengagement plan. I'm not sure what that is. He returns to lead Likud in 2005. It seems like this whole history is back and forth and back and forth. A little bit like Gömbös, though. He had that too until he became prime minister. But his reign was not as interrupted, I don't think. So there's a lot of pushback, and Israel is not homogenous. Even, I mean, it has all religions there, but it's led by Jews. But the Jews themselves, there's liberal Jews, there's extremely progressive, environmental group of political group, I should say, and then there's the Orthodox, and I'm sure there's many of you out there that are a lot more schooled in Israeli politics than I am. But I'm just saying that even though you would think there'd be a conformity in the government by Jews, no, there's a lot of conflicting parties. So there's a lot of pushback to Netanyahu over the years because of his right-wing tendencies. But he has a lot, and he's acquired a lot of very, very powerful supporters, not just in Israel, but we can see like Trump, Saudi Arabia, Russia. He has aligned. He aligned with Hamas before this attack, and then and I'm talking about the attack on the music festival that in last October that led to this terrible war that's going on and fight over um, Palestine. Well, Palestine getting uh, you know just catastrophically uh, uh, destroyed. I don't want to say I don't want to say fully destroyed. Palestine still exists. Gaza still exists, but so many deaths, so much unnecessary suffering there. And Hamas is famous for using human shields. And then you have Netanyahu, who I believe, I said this in another video, has allied with other world powers, wanting the death of Palestine itself because it's a problem. They just want to, like with Trump and Jared Kushner, they want to make a resorts there. They want to build Trump towers. There's a lot of desire for the on Netanyahu's side for the Palestinians to be completely gone, but that does not represent all the other political factions. And there's so many protests against Netanyahu right now. And he's just hanging on by a thread. And yeah, I'd forgotten that he actually, there were calls for resignation because of, there were accusations against him for fraud and embezzlement. But somehow he hangs on, to being in power, but he's not popular. And, right now, he's still in power, and that those wars are still going on. And but Netanyahu, in the way that Gömbös aligned with Hitler, Netanyahu's aligning with Hitlerian type people with authoritarian governments, and he's got an agenda here. So there's a lot of similarities, I think, to them. I think that if I had researched more, I'd find out even more. But I'm just going to give you, as I said in advance, I'm just going to give you an imperfect history. But if we have the cards that given to us by the guides, and they're going to parse out how these lives are interlinked here. So they both are represented by the devil. Their energies lie with with the wrong side of world politics, backing leaders like Hitler and Donald Trump. And I recall reading that Gömbös was really tight with Mussolini. And this is their persona, emperors. They both perceive themselves as emperors. And the guides are telling me that, both wanting to bring back nationalism, that Gambos, and forgive me if I'm wrong, I'm just hearing this from my guides. They're saying that Gambos wasn't, wanting to bring back Hungarian nationalism, and Netanyahu wants to bring back Israeli nationalism, or not even bring Israel to that pass. Above, this is the Five of Swords. So this is, the war. War is the answer. Attack is the answer. This is the suffering of the Hungarian communists and the people that Gombos purged and uh, excluded from uh, mainstream. I believe he wanted a pure nationalist Hungarian country. He was content with that, but he didn't go to the point, which I think is interesting, seeing that Netanyahu's reincarnated as Jewish. That he was uh, he decided that to protect his Jewish protectors, so to speak, or his Jewish supporters. But this is their trajectory, their intent, aggression, war, attack. In the past, we have power, and the guides say this is World War II, and this is also this current war that's going on. And uh, Netanyahu has been extremely criticized for ostensibly having allegedly lots and lots of heads up regarding what was going to happen, but that he ignored it. He wasn't prepared. And then there's also allegedly the belief that he wanted this to happen because it helped uh, justify this attack, which he could never have done considering his unpopularity. And there's a lot of desire to coexist peacefully with Palestine, and there still is actually, but there was too much on I want to say on the table, or too much to be gained for. And this is not just with Israel. Again, he's imagined that he's uh, in uh, let's say conspiracy or whatever with the United States and Russia and countries who would gain from this war. Uh, so there is a lot of speculation, and not just speculation that's out there, because Netanyahu was known to be very much supporting Hamas before this happened. I guess the thinking was that that would bring in peace, but that was not the intent. It was a surreptitious and insidious conspiracy with certain powers, allegedly, that brought this attack into fruition. So underneath here, this is intent, something, it's motivation. So this is the Hierophant and the Knight of Swords. So the guides say that this is a belief that both of them held, that uh, this was like a holy war. Do you see? Bringing using conventional institutional structures, religious structures that just required this crusade, this holy war. And this is how they present themselves also. That is, this is like the far right. So this would be the far right um, nationalists and also the far right, Likud, right wing Orthodox party, masking a worldwide aggression under this like pompous and uh, uh, a pompous mask of like institutionalized uh, belief. You know, this goes back like thousands of years to the Bible. This was prophesied in terms of Netanyahu. Um, and then for Gömbös, I believe this is just bringing back Hungarian purity and Hungarian nationalism in the future. So 10 of Wands. So the guides say this is Gömbös falling under the weight of a lot of. I think there was a lot of pressure, a lot of um, difficulty here, which then manifested into this testicular cancer. And this it became his prime minister or role as prime minister became very burdensome for him, and then he just gets sicker and sicker and dies. And for Netanyahu, I believe this is him being ousted from office. The weight of his crimes here, the karma that he's carrying here, the people. Maybe this represents also to the Israeli people just wanting him out. And it's hard to kick a prime minister or president or whatever out during times of war, but I believe this. The guides show me this is what's going to happen. He's just going to be forced to go. Above the King of Swords, very much, you know, very much resonating with this card, feeling you're above the fray, good old narcissism here, and you're looking down and you're detached, emotionally detached from, the chaos that might be happening. And somehow you feel that you are entitled to this role. And then the outcome here is the Ten of Swords. Guides say this is, the Gömbös's death, and the weight of Netanyahu's karma, which is just gonna take him down. But also, the guides tell me this is also how they are both seen in history as we look back. We don't see them as heroes. We don't see them as even for anything they might have achieved in infrastructure. I don't know, of their own countries, or maybe there's some positive or what could be perceived as positive things for their country. It's all wiped out because of who their affiliations were, their actions, their participation in aggressive attacks and wars, associations. So that is my reading on the reincarnation potentially of Benjamin Netanyahu as Gulag Gömbös. There you go. Okay, let me know what you think. Again, nothing I say is written in stone. And I honestly didn't know who this person was until the guides said that. That's who he was. It does make sense well, you know, you make anything make sense, but it really does make sense to me when I see their lives compared. I think there's a lot more that you can deduce from this or intuit from it, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. Put your comments below in the comment section. Okay, now we get to shift, and I will read you your oracle card from the Queen of the Moon Oracle deck. And did anybody see the strawberry moon that we had? It was incredible. I watched it rise. It was so beautiful. And another astrological event is, I think today there are three planets that are conjunct in the sky. I think Mars, Saturn, and Uranus. I don't remember, but we're having these amazing events as well as, the Northern Lights and amazing stuff is happening right now. Okay. So look up to the sky and especially at night. Get a telescope if you can. Um, the card that we're given is realization. And I'm going to read from the book what that's about. Self-awareness comes realization. Knowledge is power. Self-examination of your role within a situation is important at this time. And the mantra is, I have timely self-awareness and act upon my realizations. As we move into the early waxing cycle of the moon, light begins to shine upon the shadows, illuminating what it is. This is the beginning of a powerful process realization. When we decide to really examine our lives without fear or favor, it can be hard. There's no doubt that this is an act of courage. We might not like what we discover. After all, yet without self-awareness and the will to act upon these realizations, whether we perceive them as negative or positive, we do not get to change and grow. The realization that we have a pattern, maybe a bad habit or behavior that is causing us pain, is a powerful realization. Even though we may worry and feel pain around this discovery, we can take personal responsibility to change any situation. Knowing ourselves more completely enables us to accept ourselves more readily and to dare to love exactly who we really are. And I would add to that, it also can help us increase our compassion for others who are going through the same things or something similar. Realization. Okay, so I'm still available for personal readings. I read on past, present, future, anything uh, to do with this current life. I'm a medium and I love to introduce you to your guardian angels. My information is below in the description box and at the end of the musical interlude, which is coming up next. I love you guys. Please take care. I will be back next week. And yeah, be well. Okay. Until next time. Bye bye.